I will now hand over to Joseph McNamara, who is a plant health inspector with the department, and he will be bringing us through the CHED PP.
Right, just following on from my colleague's input there on creating CHEDs for products of animal origin, I'm going to run through the basics involved in creating a CHED PP for plant products. So we'll assume that you're already registered on Traces, and this will be the home screen that you see when you log on as person responsible for the load. So the first thing we will do is we will go to certificates and we will select CHED. So we want to create a new CHED. So we will click on the green icon, create new. First thing we will have to do is check mark CHED PP. So we're creating the right kind of CHED. And we will have to select the kind of commodity that's relevant. So you can search for the commodity via tariff codes if you wish, or by the common name. So for the purpose of this example, we will choose apples. So the first 4 digits of the tariff code are 0808. And we can select the green tab here for apples and click done. Now, so that has opened up a draft CHED document into which we will input all our information. So a lot of the information will already be kind of saved in Traces, and it's just a matter of us searching for it and selecting from a menu. So for this, we will select the country first because it narrows our search field. And then we will search for the name of the operator. So we're using generic names here. And if you have trouble locating the operator and the operator doesn't exist, we will perform an advanced search and try again. So if you perform an advanced search and the operator that you're looking for isn't displayed in the results of the search, if you scroll down, you have the option to create a new operator. And it makes you perform an advanced search just so we don't have multiple operators created by the same name. But anyway, we already have our operator here for the purpose of this example, exporter 1. And it's the very same procedure for the consignee. So we'll do the same thing. Search by country, Ireland. In our customs reference, you'll notice any field with a red star, it's a mandatory field, it has to be completed. Customs reference, sometimes we will put in the SAD here. It's not essential, but we would ask people to do it. For the border control post, for the purpose of plant products, we have 2 different border control post options here that this person responsible for the load has the authority to bring consignments through. So we're going to select Dublin Port here. Inspection planner location, it's not a mandatory field, but for low consignments, we would ask agents to put in the cargo terminal of a low consignment. For RoRo, it's not relevant. In field I8, it's already pre-populated because when you log in, it will populate this field, operator responsible for the consignment, with your own details, but it's possible to change it if you wish. field I9, accompanying documents. So for plant products, it's slightly different to products of animal origin. For plant products, we will need a phytosanitary certificate. So that's the only document we will ask you to declare for a CHED PP. So we will click on this. And when we're inserting the phytosanitary cert number, we will ask you to put in the whole number. So every phytosanitary cert will have a unique ID number. And then depending on the country of origin, there might be a prefix of different letters and numbers, and we'll ask you to put in the entire number. Then we will need the date of issue. So we'll just pick a random date. Country of origin, that was the South African one I entered. So we have the option of attaching a scanned copy of the phytosanitary cert here, but we won't ask you to do it because you will do that step when you're submitting your application through the portal that Fiona outlined previously. So we just have the numeric information here in the country of origin, place of issue, maybe Cape Town, apply. So prior notification, another mandatory field. This will be the date of arrival of the vessel. So it gives a prior notification to ourselves, so we can deal with the consignment and the administration of your application. So there's a drop-down menu here with a calendar. We'll imagine it's tomorrow, and we need a time of arrival as well, midday. And I7, so place of destination, you'll notice it's already pre-populated with consignee details. If the place of destination is a different location to the consignee, you would enter the information here. Means of transport, another mandatory field. So it's going to be coming in by vessel into the... And we will need some extra information here. So if you have the IMO number, it will already be saved, and you can select the boat then from the drop-down menu. And if you have your bill of lading number and a voyage number, you can also input them. Country of dispatch. So we mentioned it was South African produce, country of origin, but our country of dispatch in this instance is the United Kingdom. So container number, you'll notice there's no red star, so it's not a mandatory field. So it means you can complete a CHED PP without a container number. So for row consignments, obviously it's not going to be relevant, but for low, format of the container number is important. It will throw up an error message if it's not completed in the right format. So it has to be capital letters, no space between the letters and the numbers, and then it has to be, there's a 7-digit format. And then it turns blue when it recognizes the correct format. You can add a seal number as well. There's no specific format for a seal number. It'll be on the bill of lading. And then when you've completed one correctly, there's the option to submit more. Now, the purpose of the goods. So if they're for sale within the European Union, we're going to select for internal market, I23. And that will make these following fields redundant until we get to I31 for wood packaging material. So you'll notice it is not a mandatory field. We have no red star, but if you do have wood packaging, you're obliged to declare it. So we will go to add wood packaging material. So we'll select pallets in this instance. Now, so that's created wood packaging material descriptions. So you'll notice there are 3 mandatory fields here. So we now have to enter enter the details, the description of the wood packaging material. So it's made from wood. That's our EPO code. Count, we will say that there's 21 pallets. Country of origin, let's say South Africa. And I've purposely left out a detail here. That's a common error, and we will come back to that near the end. So now we have the second part of I-31, a description of our consignment. It's a common place where errors are made. So we will need to, we already entered the tag code at the beginning. So now we'll need to select the product here, Malus domestica. So that's the botanical name. You will have the name available to you on the phytosanitary cert. Product type, it will be fruit and veg. Our net weight, we'll put it in kilos. Our package count, 1,600 boxes. And our country of origin, and gross weight. Okay, now we will try and submit for and see what happens. We'll see what error messages are generated, and then we can correct the errors. So, okay, it's showing us an error in the wood packaging material. There's an error message down at the bottom of the CHED here. We'll just expand it, and we can click on the error, and it'll bring us to the relevant part of the CHED. So it's telling me row 0, count is incomplete. So we'll go here to count. And so what we've done was we've forgotten to insert the unit. It's pallets, 21 pallets. Okay, we'll try again and submit. Okay, it's showing us a couple more errors. So description of consignment. Row 1 net weight is incomplete. So our net weight, we didn't select units of kilograms, and gross weight was the same error, kilograms also. Now I'll try that again. So that was created successfully. So we can see here. So that's just refreshing. So you can see now we have a CHED number that we can quote in our application. But if we decide that we want to edit the CHED, it still has the status of new. So we still have the option as person responsible for the load of being able to make edits to the CHED. So if we decided we needed to add another commodity, we would go back to I-31 and we can add another commodity. So we'll say, for sake of example, it's cut flowers and it's roses. We can search. Here we go, fresh cut flowers, CHED PP. So now we need to enter the consignment details. So we have an option to hide optional columns. So we'll get the EPO code with the botanical name. So this will be available on your phytosanitary search. And then it's going to be your commodity type will be fresh cut flowers. Your net weight, we'll call it 200 kilos. Make sure we select kilograms. Boxes, 20. Country of origin. And as an option, on a phytosanitary search for cut flowers, stem count is often quoted. So we'll say there are 10,000 stems in this consignment. And we will resubmit that for decision. There we go, successfully updated. So now there we have a shed with 2 different commodities declared. So that's it complete. And I'll just briefly go through the options then available if we want to create another one with copy as new function. Basically, it cuts down on a lot of work if you are creating sheds from the same operators with the same commodities time and time again. So this is the shed that we just created. And if we want to create another one with the same commodities from the same operator, we will just actions, go to copy as new. Then that will open up draft shed with a lot of the same details. So we'll just need to change certain details with regard to accompanying documents, and the volumes of the commodity might change as well, and obviously your customs reference number. But everything else is pretty much the same. Great, okay, I'll hand you back to my colleagues. Tom, do you want to take over?
Yes, indeed. Thank you very much for that that comprehensive look through the various screens and what they'll look like for people when they're clicking on them. Thank you very much.